Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey. Welcome back to the channel. My final 2024 NHL mock draft. You're going to want to stick around for the whole thing. I'm going to rip through it first round, and I want you guys to comment your thoughts. If you're a new member to the channel, new subscriber, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, definitely comment your thoughts, that like button, notification bell, all that good stuff. Let's rip through it. So San Jose Sharks, I'm not going to waste time on this one. They're picking Celebrini, number one. All right, no fluff, no wasting time. Number two, the Blackhawks have already said they have their decision. They're going to go with it. And I just feel like Demidov to me was the pick. But I'm also just looking at the Blackhawks overlook right now. And they've got Korchinski on the left side. They've got Vlasic on the left side. I feel like they might go right shot defenseman. And I'm going to go Artyom Levshinov. Big right shot, 6'2" defenseman with, I don't know, just overall what I would say Chicago was looking for on that right side. So you know what? Demidov to me has the higher ceiling, but Levshinov, beast, high ceiling, top four, potentially top pairing defenseman. I think at second overall, you're hoping for him to be that top pairing defenseman. Number three, Anaheim Ducks. And you know what? This one might be controversial with my take here, but I look at the Anaheim Ducks, who sometimes just surprise people with a pick that might be a little bit higher than some people expected. And you know what? The fact that they went center last year, and the year prior they went defenseman, maybe it means they go back to defenseman here. They went Carlson, obviously, last year. You go back, they went Pavel Mintyukov, defenseman, former Saginaw Spirit defenseman. Makes me think the Ducks might have their eyes on a Saginaw Spirit defenseman again. And I'm going actually Zane Parekh third overall. I'm so high on Zane Parekh, guys. I honestly can't believe that there's some people out there that don't have Zane Parekh in their top seven. Like, I think there is no chance Zane Parekh gets past Ottawa, for example. Like, I just don't see it. And I think if that happens, then there's teams making a massive mistake here. I think Zane Parech's ceiling is so high. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zane Parekh gets scooped up somewhere else here in this top seven. But I'm going Anaheim gets another Saginaw Spirit defenseman. And your future top pair in Anaheim is Pavel Mintyukov and Zane Parekh, two former Saginaw Spirit. So third, Parekh. Fourth, Blue Jackets. Honestly, guys, I was going back and forth between Demidov and Lindstrom here. I had the hot take that Yzerman could go as high as this, but I have a new destination for Yzerman. And I just think his stock has fallen, and I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to trust the insiders. I think Yzerman is going to be a steal based on the conversations right now. So at number four, I'm going Caden Lindstrom. I think the size, 6'3", I think the Blue Jackets are looking for that just strength up the middle. Fantilli's that creator. I feel like Lindstrom's more of that built 6'3", complete, can play center wing if need be. But I think Caden Lindstrom with Don Waddell coming in, I think that could be a really intriguing piece to their forward group. Again, we'll see. I think there's a chance they go scoring here, and that would be like a Demidov or an Yzerman potentially. I mean, Demidov, I think, won't pass the top five, and that's why I have him going to Montreal. I know Habs fans are going to get so excited with that. I just don't see Demidov going past number five. I don't. So I think Demidov could go anywhere from Chicago to Montreal. I think Anaheim, I think they're going defenseman. So that's kind of where I go, okay, Demidov, if Chicago passes on him, and Columbus wants to go center, Montreal could get Demidov. The Coyotes have always been difficult for me to predict, and obviously now they're Utah. I have this thing in my head right now that I think they could go forward, but I'm just thinking they have Maverick Lamoureux, 6'7". They just drafted Simashev last year. I feel like forward is the way to go, but at the same time, I'm going to go Silyev because, oh my gosh, imagine a defense pair of 6'7", Anton Silyev, and 6'7", Maverick Lamoureux. And I think just the way Utah can look at this is, you know what? You're going to slowly build an offense built around Clayton Keller, Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther. You already got those pieces kind of growing in your offense. And you know what? At some point, they're going to have to really figure out who's their goalie of the future. But at the same time, if you build a defense core in the National Hockey League, you can do big things. Yeah, not always is it the team with the great defense group, i.e. like Florida Panthers just figure it out, right? But you look at also like a team like Vegas Golden Knights, big, mobile defensemen. if you get Silyev here, and then you also have Maverick Lamoureux, like 2 6'7" defensemen that have this skill set, they're not just bums, they're huge defensemen that can actually make things happen. I think that could be so attractive and so exciting for a new Utah team to have two trees, two giants on your back end. And then you have Simashev, you have other guys coming in. So the Coyotes, and now Utah, haven't really been able in recent memory to build that defense group. I think this is your opportunity. Silyev to number 6 to the Utah HC. So you got Celebrini, Levshunov, Parekh, Lindstrom, Demidov, Silyev. I'm going to stick with my pick of Berkeley Catton to the Ottawa Senators, and I'm going to stick with my pick of Zeev Buium to the Seattle Kraken. I don't think Buium falls past 8, and I don't think Silyev passes that point either. The Berkeley Catton one, I just think he's really dynamic, very underrated. I'm excited about Catton's game. I think he should be a top 10 pick. And by default, he should be a top 10 pick at this point. Rising the draft rankings, TJ Ginla to the Calgary Flames. I'm going to be so sad if TJ Ginla doesn't go to the Calgary Flames. If a team like the Utah, I could see Utah just, oh my God, imagine Utah coming in with waves, pissing people off, drafting TJ Ginla. I could see TJ Ginla going somewhere from Utah to Seattle, but I hope he falls down to Calgary at number 9. That would be ideal. So TJ Ginla at number 9. Go New Jersey drafts. Consta Hellenius. So I think that's actually who I had last time. So number 11, San Jose Sharks are up. They made a trade with the Buffalo Sabres. They traded up to number 11. Sabres trade down to 14 and also get the 42nd overall pick. So Sharks, I just think by default, you would have to think they pick defenseman here after picking forward with Celebrini first overall. But Cole Eiserman on the board is really interesting. I don't think Eiserman goes too much further past this. So I am going to go Sam Dickinson here. I think this makes a lot of sense for the Sharks. You pick a great forward in Celebrini, and you pick a dynamic defenseman in Sam Dickinson. But again, think about the opportunity of the Sharks having Will Smith and Cole Eiserman, and so many of these guys joined by Celebrini on the future power play. So we'll see. And then it kind of opens up the potential of maybe them trading an Eklund, for example, for more value. I don't know, but even Eklund on that number 1 power play unit would be unreal. So 12, Cole Eiserman. There's been a lot of rumors that the Flyers have the interest in Cole Eiserman. Guys, Cole Eiserman's stock has fallen enough. I think he should still be a top 10 pick. I think if he falls out of top 10, the Flyers, I think they're going to learn their lesson. The last time they passed on a U.S. development program player in a bad way was Cole Caulfield. I don't think the Flyers are going to do it again. I think I had Greentree originally going to the Wild. I'm going to stick with that pick. Then Carter Yakemchuk. Sabres are so solid on the left side. Guys, the picks that I already had originally, I'm not going to do too much explanation. I'm just going to go with the picks and be confident in this. It's my final mock draft. I already went through these similar picks. So Sabres get Yakemchuk like my first mock draft, and Greentree to the Wild. Red Wings. I'm going to go Beckett Seneca here. I don't think he passes much further in terms of top 15. I've overlooked his game quite a bit. But watching him through the OHL playoffs for the Ottawa Generals, I think Seneca could go as high as 6 or 7 or as low as this point, which I'm putting him at. So Seneca at number 15 to the Red Wings. 16, Blues. I'm going to go with Brandsteg Nygaard. I think he could be a guy that goes mid to late first round. From what I've read, from what I've watched, good two-way guy. Ceiling's probably a second liner. And at the end of the day, for a second half of the first round, that's what you want, right? You're going to get your steals like a Wyatt Johnson later in the first round and things like that. But I think that's a good pick for the Blues. Keep in mind they could go defenseman depending on who's on the board. Number 17, Washington Capitals. I think they got to refill their cupboard for defensemen. So I'm going to go with Adam Juracek. I think Juracek's a good bet to go first round, mid to late first round. I think that's a good bet. Number 18, Chicago Blackhawks. And honestly, guys, people might think this is a bit of a reach. For the Bulldogs, we're picking Marek Van Aken to the Blackhawks. Lock that in. Why not? We've got to get some hot takes in here. He's one of the best left wingers in this draft. Number 19, Vegas Golden Knights. So I think the Knights, they're always looking for that value pick. And I'm going to go with, I just saw him here, Chet Luchenko with the Guelph Storm. Had a really good year for the Storm. I think he's got that two-way ability. There's been a lot of comparisons to those two-way centers in the league, whether it's as low as like a Jean-Gabriel Pageau or like a Nick Suzuki with Montreal. I think Luchenko could go mid to late first round as well. Now the New York Islanders. Honestly, guys, I actually don't know where the Isles are going to go here necessarily in terms of fit. But I do think in terms of Lou Lamoriello's perspective, in terms of building a good defense core, I like E.J. Emery's game a lot for the U.S. National Development Program. So I'm going to go E.J. Emery. I think he goes in the 20s in the first round to the New York Islanders. LA Kings like to look at the Barrie Colts. They drafted Brant Clark, and now Cole Beaudoin at 21. I think he go a bit earlier than this, but you know what? I'm using the same logic. I think that's valid. The scouts are sometimes looking at the same team. They see a guy they like. I think the logic's there. Now let's just rip through the rest of the first round and just do some, I would say, highlight picks or spotlight picks that I talked about. So I think there's going to be a couple defensemen that the Leafs consider. Solberg, Hudson, Henry Muse maybe. How ironic would be if they scooped up Cole Hudson. Habs fans would be down bad. I really like the Michael Hage pick here to Boston. The Trevor Conley one here, I think Trevor Conley could like leave the first round altogether with his off-ice issues, so we're going to see what happens there. He could be a mid-first round pick without those off-ice issues. Won't go into the accusations there, but search it up. That one's going to be a storyline probably. Henry Muse, I really like that draft for Calgary if they can come out of it with TJ Ginla and Henry Muse. And right shot, 6'3", Charlie Elick to the New York Rangers. And then I did a bonus pick. If San Jose picks Sam Dickinson, maybe they pick teammate Sam O'Reilly from the London Knights. So give me your thoughts, guys, on this first round mock draft. I think I'm pretty confident about a lot of these picks, at least in the top 10. My scouting was pretty limited this year to like OHL and CHL. So I would say a lot of it when I got to the second half of the first round was a little limited, but I've seen a lot of these guys play at least a few games. I do think the Leafs are going to draft defensemen in this draft. I mean, you guys know that's kind of my lane at sometimes, but you know what? I think mid to late first round is very unpredictable. Like I'm very confident in my top 12 rankings. So like Celebrini, Levshunov, Parekh, Lindstrom, Demidov, any specific order, but those are my top 4 or 5, I would say. Silyev, Kat and Buyum. I could have Silyev or Buyum in the top 5, but then after that, it's like Kat and TJ Ginla right after is my rankings. And then in that next portion, Hellenius, Dickinson, Yzerman in any order. I could see Yzerman going as high as like 10, even higher potentially. I've talked about him going as high as number 5, so 4 or 5. I think Yzerman's another one tough to predict. Then Greentree, Akemchuk, Seneca. After that, to me, it's wide open. Like it's completely wide open after like the Sabres, for example. And I think the Sabres could honestly trade their picks. So comment your thoughts, guys, on this mock draft. If I missed any, give me crap for it. If I'm close to accurate, come back into the comments, give me some creds or give me some crap. Regardless of what it is, hope you hit that subscribe button, like, notification bell, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one. Happy draft. And join the live stream tomorrow night if you're watching on Thursday. If you're watching on Friday, I'll be live Friday night for the draft. See you there. Peace.